we train to that body, and that what we're developing in our Gestalt psychotherapy training is access to and capacity to be with ourselves. You could say that for a Gestalt therapist, their body is their main tool. Their experience here in our experience is the main tool. We're not teaching to people's brains. We do teach. We've got theory and we teach, but I like to think of it. We're teaching to people's seat. We're teaching them to put something underneath them, so they've got something to ground. But we're not trying to teach them the answers. We're not trying to create experts. It's not about expertise. And equally, it's not about skills. Although, of course, our program has skills, and there are skills to learn. But it's not a skills-based training. It's not an expertise-based training. It's a person of the therapist-based training, because this is like where it's gonna. It is sort of fundamentally different, because lots of what is being taught at the moment are brief courses, skills-based courses. They're what to do training. And other training is definitely in the territory of knowing a lot about things. And there's not necessarily that underlying bedrock, foundational understanding of what it is to be human and what it is to sit with another human. And I think it seems so simple. I said that to a prospective student once, and she said, I already know how to do that. So I beg to differ. Well, yeah, of course, at one level we all know how to do that, but there's so many interruptions to that, to actually dedicate our practice to really try to not give in to the seduction of knowing what to do, to stay with being with what is. I think it's transformational. Yeah.
So can you give us some examples about the kind of activities that happens in class that supports the capacity building in Gestalt?
I can. I'm worried they'll feel a bit woo and out of context, but I can try. I mean, one of a lovely paired inquiry that we might do would be something like, in this moment with you, I notice something. And you might, in this moment with you, I notice something. So simple. But in this moment, in this here and now experience with you, my attention is drawn to. And so we're getting away from storytelling. There's no narrative in this. We might notice what our attention is drawn to, but we might also notice how our partner's attention or their noticing subtly changes what we notice. We might move our attention from what we can see in the broader to here. We might move to what I'm noticing in you, what I notice in my own experience. And we can see those as very different fields of inquiry. But but I don't know, it seems so simple, maybe it's not even a good example, but I just think that's a very basic inquiry. So what is present now? What is present now? Like, it's so simple, and yet quite often when we override what is present, right, to some sort of expected role or some familiar way of showing up in the world, and we bypass all of this lovely data. If our attention is given to, say, our cognitive processes, our thoughts, then we actually in that moment don't have access to other sites of awareness, our bodies, that's what's happening through our senses, etc. What's happening in terms of the context, and we can get lost in our thoughts. Rumination is a being lost in our thoughts or overcommitted to our thinking process as a way out of the situation. And so deliberately bringing our attention to other aspects of our experience can be like a holiday from our thoughts. They can also give us data that might let us know that our thoughts aren't taking us in a useful direction. So any exercise or any inquiry that asks you to shuttle your experience between different zones of awareness or different figures is going to support that more organic, what am I paying attention to? What am I not paying attention to? What needs attention? Yeah. But basically, we want to slow down every inquiry from the content of the inquiry, the answer to the question, if you like, to the process of the inquiry. What is it like to be in this conversation with you right now? Moving from what is Gestalt to what is it like to sit in this space, in this way, and having this sort of conversation. Such a relief, isn't it? I can feel myself relieved to drop from feeling like I have to go up into my head to find the answers to some of your questions, to just sort of coming back into the experience of being in a space with you.
And I remember you talking about how, it's not that in Gestalt we don't talk about the past and we don't talk about the childhood stuff, but we bring that kind of in the present moment, and that there's some kind of freshness in that.
Yeah. How's the story being told now? How is it different in the telling of it now? What are you hearing now? So it's this sort of the here and now of it is really important. Why this story now? I think that's rather than the story somehow a fixed thing from the past that just sort of comes in here as information. It's actually part of a process, the remembering of the story, the sharing of the story, the speaking to the story, noticing our attachments to the story, all those sorts of things. They're the process-oriented part of it. They're here and now part of it. So of course we reach from the past and we also reach forward. But then again, this sort of sense of, and why this fantasy of the future now?